I kept standing there looking at him with wide eyes, and he passed me, a malicious glare. He is crazy. Like really, I understand that he has OCD, but this is too much. Delilah, he yelled, and I flinched. Don't you ever, and I repeat, don't you ever use my bathroom and my towels again? In fact, don't touch anything that belongs to me or else me, and you're gonna have a huge problem and you won't like it. He threatened, and I swallowed a lump in my throat. A big problem. We already have a big problem. I mean, we hate each other so much. Are you listening to me? He asked, breathing hard. Seriously, he is scaring me now, so in order to settle the matter, I just nodded. Good. I don't want to ever see you in this room again, nor near my stuff or else. He said in a warning tone, Geez. Dylan, I said, fine, I am never gonna touch your stuff again. Can you stop yelling your lungs out now? I asked, screaming, gosh, he is annoying me with the constant yelling. My poor eardrums. Such an evil man. First, he inflicted his bad luck on me, and now he wants me to turn deaf. Who gave you the right to wear my expensive germ-less shirt, huh? He asked, and I snorted. So I have germs, right? Now I know his weakness, dirt. Whenever he annoys me, I am gonna smash some dirt in his spotless room. I smirked wickedly. Earth to Mrs. Piggy. You look hideous with that stupid smirk on you already ugly face, he said, snapping me out of my wicked thoughts. Oh, so we're back to Mrs. Piggy and Mr. Froggy. Just few minutes ago he was behaving like a lunatic, and now he is back to the annoying Dylan. You know what, Mrs. Piggy? I've seen many women wearing man's shirt, and none of them looked like you before. Why? He asked and stared at him confused. How am I supposed to know? Do I look like a guru to him? And does this mean I look beautiful in his shirt? Is it a compliment or what? Instead of you wearing the shirt is wearing you. He teased, laughing loudly, and I frowned. I feel like slapping myself for thinking that this lunatic will ever compliment me. Ha ha ha! Very funny, Mr. Froggy Pants. I said, slightly annoyed. You look like one of those ghosts in that movie. What is it called again? The Haunted. Enough! I interrupted him, yelling, Stop with your foolish jokes, Mr. Froggy Pants. I am tired and feeling sleepy. So can you please show me to my room because I want to sleep? Tomorrow I have classes. I said, battling my eyelashes. Teasing him? Class is my foot, if you can blabber that small piggy mouth of yours for the whole day. Why can't I? He said, snorting, and I chuckled. Fine, if don't show me my room, then I am gonna sleep in that comfortable bed of yours, and you are not gonna stop me. Do you get it? I threatened, and he scoffed loudly. Not a chance, Piggy. My bed is not your muddy puddle. I won't let you sleep on my bed with your germs. I already did, I said, mocking him, clicking my tounge. You what? He screamed, and rushed out of the bathroom, and I laughed. Take that, jerk. No, no, no. I heard him screaming, and I rushed out of the bathroom to watch the drama unfold. I have to change these sheets. Too much germs, he muttered, breathing, heavily wearing his safety gloves, holding a bottle of sanitizer, using it on his hands. Such a drama king, I thought, hissing. He removed every single bed sheets and pillowcases on his comfortable bed and placed new ones. Typical Dylan, Mr. OCD. I looked back at him, and I heard him mutter, No more germs, he said, taking off his gloves. Are you done, drama king? I asked, teasing him, laughing slightly, and he glared at me with so much hatred. Oops, I think I pressed the wrong button. I am warning you, Delilah. Don't touch my staff, threatened. Again. I heard you, Mr. Froggy. Now please, I am feeling sleepy. Kindly escort me to my humble abode. The queen needs her beauty sleep, I said in a British accent, earning a snort from him. Beauty sleep. Touch. What do pigs need a beauty sleep for? He teased, smirking, and I walked towards his huge bed, yawning. What? What are you doing? He yelled, stammering, breathing heavily, and I smirked. Having my piggy sleep, I answered simply. Don't touch my bed with your germs. I already changed those sheets, Delilah. What can I do? You won't show me my room and I am feeling sleepy already. What should I do, huh? I have classes tomorrow, I screamed, frustrated. Fine, just step away from the bed, and I'll show you your room, he pleaded. And I gasped, so this jerk knows how to plead. I didn't know rude jerks can plead. I nodded, moving away from his precious bed, and he gestured me to follow him. And I did. We arrived at the room on the second door. When he opened the door, I gasped. Everything in this house is super clean and well arranged. The room was not marvelous as Dylan's own, but it was beautiful. It was painted white. And the wardrobes and cupboards were huge, not to talk about the queen-sized bed. Gosh, so beautiful and spacious. Not that my room was not spacious, but this is extra spacious and more beautiful too. Close that mouth of yours before flies get in, Dylan said with amusement, and I ducked my head with embarrassed. I didn't even realize that my mouth wide opened. This is so embarrassing. Try to keep this room clean. I know pigs like dirt, but please, you are no longer at your house. You are in my penthouse now. Let your piggy ways go. You never miss a chance to start a fight with me, don't you? I asked, frowning, and he laughed. What is so funny? You are so funny. Me fight with you? Never. I would rather fight with germs. I am stating the facts here, Mrs. Piggy, he said, laughing, and I wished I can wipe that stupid laugh off his face. And the worst thing is he looks cute. When he laughs, did I mention that he has dimples? Yup. He has sexy dimples. He looks more handsome when he laughs. Oh, God, why am I complimenting this ugly wizard? Did I say handsome? No. He looks like Shrek. Have a very good piggy night, Mrs. Piggy. He teased me, laughing, and I said, You too, Mr. Froggy Pants. Dream about your froggy princess. Oh, all in when I kiss her, she'll turn into the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, he said, scrolling away from the room, laughing. Jerk, I yelled with annoyance. Hope today I dream about my knight and shining amour, my Prince Charming, riding a white beautiful horse, holding a shiny silver sword, fighting all the evil forces. One of them will definitely be Dylan. I hate him. I climbed on the bed and got under the covers and drifted off to dreamland. No Dylan, no worries. Tad, wend. The alarm rang and I groaned in frustration. What time is it, huh? I asked no one in particular. I looked at the clock and it was already 7:30. Gosh, my classes starts at 8:30 and I am writing an essay for Mrs. Brown. I have only 1 hour to finish everything, so I quickly ran to the bathroom, and it was a wow. But no time to admire the bathroom now. I have to move. I took my bath quickly, and I suddenly remembered that I didn't have clothes. Why do I feel like this is going to be the worst day of my life? I wanted to dream about my knight and shining amour. But instead, I dreamed about that frog Dylan instead. I draped a towel around myself and quickly messaged my mom. Hello, Mom. I don't have any clothes to wear for school today. I had to wait for 2 minutes before she messaged back. Honey, I've already sent them to you early in the morning. It means they are downstairs. God, I am late already. Thanks, Mom. Kisses, I love you. Love you too, honey. Have a great day, I smiled. I so much love my mom. I quickly rushed downstairs and saw my luggage. Phew, that was a close call. I hope everything is here, or else Mummy is gonna get it from me. I tried pulling my luggage, but damn, it was heavy. So I tried again, but to no avail. If only I had the perfect gentleman as a husband, I wouldn't be suffering like this. On the other hand, I was holding the towel from falling, and on the other hand, I was pulling my luggage. What a mess! I pulled with all my strength, and it moved a little. Somebody help! I screamed in frustration and almost cried. "What is going on, Mrs. Piggy?" Dylan asked behind me, making me flinched and my towel dropped. And, oops! I was standing stark naked in front of my worst nightmare, my jerk husband. The worst day of my life. Written by Felicia Race Tabve. "Ah! Turn around, you pervert!" I screamed at the jerk in frustration, and he laughed. "What is so funny? Dylan, turn around now!" I yelled, covering my sister down there and my peanut breasts with my hands. He turned around laughing, and I quickly grabbed my towel. Such embarrassment. "Are you done, Mrs. Piggy?" he asked, mocking me, smirking, and I snorted. The fool is mocking me. I'll teach him a lesson, but not now. Now I have to move. I have an essay to write. "What is there to hide, Mrs. Piggy? Your peanut breasts." He teased me and I frowned. I decided to act ignorance and continued dragging my luggage like some lunatic woman. "Trust me, I have my type of woman, and you are definitely not my type, Delilah. So there is no need to act like you are Cardi B or Nicki Minaj when you are just ugly little Delilah," he said, and I balled my fists. Not his type of woman. That is what he said the last time he found out that I had a massive crush on him. But not anymore to me. He is my worst enemy. This time, I held my towel tight. I don't want to give this jerk a reason to tease me again. "You know what, Piggy? I've seen many naked women before, and believe me, their bodies are appetizing, and yours is just... What can I say? It is... Enough, Dylan. I don't have time to fight with you right now. I have classes at 8:30, and if you don't mind, can you please help me with my luggage? Gosh, I can't believe I am asking help from a jerk. The great Delilah is pleading," he asked with amusement, and I rolled my, "Yes, I am pleading. Just help me with my luggage, will you?" I was getting pissed now. It is getting late already. Doesn't he get that? Such a bird brain. Geez, fine, Piggy, stop yelling. It is still quite early to lose your voice. He carried my suitcase like it was just a feather, and I gasped. I couldn't even carry 1 inch of it, and he is. He is very potent. Why wouldn't he? I mean, he jogs every single morning and goes to the gym. That is why many ladies trip over him so badly. But sadly, I hate his guts and him. We got to the room, and he dropped my luggage hard on the ground. How rude. "Hey, there are my expensive jewels in there and my makeup kit. If you ruin anything, then you'll pay for it," I screamed, and he scoffed loudly. "Is that a thank you I get for carrying this ugly and unfashionable suitcase?" "Don't worry, my dear wife, I can afford cheap things." I gasped at his statement. Cheap things. How dare he? I mean, I am simple. But I don't wear cheap things. I just love wearing jeans, hoodies, and sneakers. I feel comfortable wearing them, not some skimpy dresses and heels. I sighed and took out my clothes, getting ready to go to school. Do I? I got to school at 8:20. Thank God I am not late, or else Mrs. Brown would have given me one of her silly lectures. "Hey babe," Simone greeted behind me. When I turned around, I saw Brianna's grinning face. Well, Brianna is my best friend. She is very opposite from me. She is one of those girls who loves fashion and heels and wears lots of makeup. She has that perfect body every girl craves for. She is hot and beautiful. Sometimes I wonder how we became friends. I tend to get jealous of her sometimes. We have been friends since mid-school. She was that girl who had boys wrapped around her fingers, and I was just that girl who was hardly noticed by boys. To top it up, I wore those big round glasses because I had poor eyesight. When Bree first approached me, I thought she wanted to bully me like other girls, but she was just friendly and funny. She loves partying. Although she pretends to be happy sometimes, I can see the loneliness in her eyes. Well, her parents got separated when she was 16 years old. Her mother has a boyfriend in Arizona, so sometimes she leaves her alone for weeks and sometimes even months. But Bree tries so hard to hide her loneliness. Her father, well, I don't really know what to say about him. Since they got separated, he just vanished from existence. Brianna doesn't know where he is, so she just considers herself fatherless. Poor Brianna, I am fortunate that I have parents who loves me dearly. Or should I say Mrs. Collymore? She muttered, grinning, and I rolled my eyes at her. Mrs. Collymore, my foot. Shut it, Bree. You know how much I hate that jerk. She laughed at my outburst. What? How can you hate the most eligible hot bachelor in California? I mean, he is rich, handsome, and hot. I wish I married him instead, she said dreamily, and I scoffed. Brianna, sometimes having a hot, handsome, and rich husband doesn't fill the void in your heart, Bree. We don't love each other. So why should I be happy? All my life I have wished for my Prince Charming who swept me off my feet, but I got a jerk as a husband instead. I wanted to marry the man I love instead. Not this. She scoffed and said, love doesn't speak. Money does. Even if he doesn't love me but rich as Dylan, the heir to the Collymore Industries, I would definitely be elated. I don't know where I got this girl. Money isn't everything. It doesn't bring any happiness, so I am definitely not happy with Dylan, not at all. Bree, please stop lecturing me, will you? The honest truth is that I hate him, and you of all people know that. I only did charade because of my parents, not for love. I deadpanned, and she frowned. Whatever, Lila. I am so happy for you, Mrs. Collymore. She squealed and run away, and I groaned, Brianna. I yelled, and she laughed. Crazy girl. I muttered and hissed. The bell rang and I rushed to the lecture hall, and within 2 minutes Mrs. Brown was already in. Mrs. Brown is a very strict lecturer. She doesn't take nonsense from anyone. Just as I said on Friday today, we are writing an essay of 500 words, and I don't want to hear your silly excuses. Her loud voice rang from all corners of the lecture hall. Gosh! This woman will damage our eardrums someday. She loves screaming and shouting. If I were to miss this chance of writing the essay, I would never get another chance. Mrs. Brown doesn't offer second chances. I hope this goes well. Dylan. What the hell is wrong with all of you? I screamed on their silly faces. I just stepped out of the company for a few days preparing for that stupid wedding, and they didn't make any effort for us to win this contract. This is the biggest contract that I have ever received in my entire business life, and they want to ruin it for me. I have always dreamed of working with the most famous businessman, Elon Musk. He is the richest amongst businessmen. His net worth is $188 billion. How crazy is that? I can't miss this opportunity. Sir, we're sorry we didn't. He tried saying, keep quiet. All of you get out now. I screamed and they flinched, rushing out of the office. I was pissed right now. They all rushed out of my office, and I groaned in frustration. I have to fix this. I can't lose this deal, never. But first I have to sanitize my office. There are germs everywhere. I sat on my chair with my head bowed down and closed my eyes, and the first thing that came through my mind was Delilah's unclad body. God. I am going bananas. Why would I think about silly girl of all people? I should be thinking about Juliet, my super hot girlfriend. I groaned. Get out of my mind, Delilah. Written by Felicia Race Tabve. Dylan. Dill. My office door opened and Susan entered. She is one of my playthings, but as for today, I am not in the mood for banging some desperate whores. She catwalked towards my table with her skimpy dress and stilettos, wearing a seductive smile on those fake lips, and I rolled my eyes, desperate b-board each. Hey, Mr. Collymore, she greeted with that irritating voice of hers. Good morning, Miss Stoll. How can I help you? I asked sternly, and she frowned slightly and covered it up with a seductive smile. Don't pretend like you don't know what I want. Honey bunch, the usual. Of course. She smiled and catwalked around the table and sat on my table in front of me and opened her legs slightly so that I can see her lacy white panty. I could see her neatly shaved forbidden area smiling at me, and I gulped hard. So F.R. aching tempting. This F.I. king seductress. My crotch twitched and my pants congealed. Have some decency, Dill. You just got married yesterday, and you have Juliet. Remember, my subconscious scolded, and I sighed. The least I can do is respect my wife. But just for today, simply because we got married yesterday, I have to refuse this tempting seductress. Have some decency, Miss Stoll. I just got married yesterday. I have a wife, so it will be good if you leave my office right now. I need to work, I said sternly. And she scoffed. Oh, please, Mr. Collymore. You mean that ugly wife of yours? Come on, honey. I am more hot and sexy than her. She won't make you feel great like I make you feel. She trailed those manicures up and down my chest, biting her lower lip seductively, and I grabbed her hand tightly, passing her a malicious glare. I said, go. Trust me, you don't want me to repeat myself. I growled and she flinched. You don't want to lose your job, do you? I threatened sternly, and she shook her head vigorously. She abruptly stepped away from my table and rushed out of my office, and I smirked good riddance to a nuisance. Gosh, now I am going to have blue balls for the rest of the day. My life sucks. I quickly took my sanitizer and cleaned my table. F-ite King Germs. Time to start working on my project. Maybe this will help me forget about Delilah, the Wicked Witch of the West. 18. Delilah. Gosh, I had to rack my brain to write that essay. Mrs. Brown will kill us one day. Does she think we're some sort of robots or something? Hey, Mrs. Collymore, I swear, someday I am gonna kill this girl. What did I tell you about calling me that? I was furious now, Mrs. Collymore, my foot. Oh, please, even if you can bark or shout, you are still Mrs. Collymore. She smiled at me. Foolish girl. Whatever, Bree, how was the essay? I asked her. And she scoffed. Can we not talk about Mrs. Brown now, please? She rolled her eyes at me. Yup, that is Brianna for you. She doesn't like Mrs. Brown. I wonder what that poor old woman did to her. We got to the cafeteria, and we found an empty table, and I ordered my usual meal, tacos and soda. I so much love tacos. In fact, I love Mexican food. Brianna ordered some chicken salad. She said she wants to keep her figure so she will not eat oily meals. How absurd. I wouldn't survive a day without eating some tacos. So tell me about your first night with your husband. I rolled my eyes at her. Nothing happened, Bree. Nothing will ever happen between me and Mr. OCD's. She looked at me quite confused. Mr. OCD, she asked, and I nodded. He is allergic to germs. Trust me, that jerk is absolutely loco. You should have seen his reactions when I took a bath in his bathroom. I laughed when I remembered what he did. Drama king. She gasped and asked, You mean that hot and handsome husband of yours has mysophobia? I quickly nodded and muttered a yes. How come I didn't know about this? I mean, we went to the same high school, just that he was a senior to us's, she asked, munching on her salad. And I shrugged. Auntie Mary once mentioned it, but I didn't pay much attention to it. I thought it not serious until I witnessed it for myself yesterday. You mean his mother once told you about it? She asked, and I nodded. Aunt Mary is that jerk's mother. She is very sweet and caring. I absolutely love that woman. So when are planning to swipe your V-card, Mrs. Collymore? She asked, grinning like a fool, and I groaned, Brianna. I screamed and she laughed. My crazy girl, I so much love her. Written by Felicia Race Taub. Delilah. God. I am so tired, my legs are killing me. I muttered tiredly, yawning. If there is something that I love is sleeping. Thank God tomorrow there are no lectures. It is a free day for me. Yay. Thank God. Dylan won't be here for the rest of the day. Gosh, I am going to have the best day ever. No Dylan. No worries. That is my code. Gosh, I am feeling so sleepy, and I am feeling lazy to climb up the stairs. The couch is comfortable enough for me to sleep on. I will just rest here for a few minutes and go upstairs to freshen up. I yawned, loudly stretching my muscles. Dreamland, here I come. Hi, Jen, Quenda. Delilah, someone yelled loudly. Could I be dreaming? Delilah, the voice came again. Seriously, whose voice is that? Delilah, the voice called, followed by a tap on my shoulder, and I fell down on the floor with a loud thud. What I muttered, rubbing my sleepy eyes. When I opened my eyes, fully behold the frog Prince Dylan, and I frowned. What does he want from me? Can't I just rest in peace without him pestering me, huh? He glared at me furiously, and I stood up, wiping a drool that was on my cheek. Ouch, my butt cheeks hurts. He will pay for this. I folded my arms and frowned, glaring at him fiercely. If he wants a fight, then I am ready to fight. I ain't scared of nobody, not even Mr. Froggy Pants. Delilah, you are drooling on my clean couch, inflicting your germs. What kind of a woman are you? He yelled, and I flinched slightly. Why didn't you go to your room instead of sleeping on my couch? And who sleeps at this time of the day? Do you even know what the time is? He yelled, and I scoffed loudly. Hello, it is Delilah. Nothing is impossible when it comes to me, and why the hell is he yelling so loudly, huh? I can pay $1 million just for someone to make Dylan dumb. Yeesh. Dylan, don't you get tired of shouting? Please, it is too early to listen to your lectures, and there is nowhere in the Bible where it is mentioned when and what time we can sleep. Okay, I quickly said, avoiding his gaze. You are allowed to sleep anywhere, but not my couch, Delilah. In fact, not anywhere but your room. Doesn't he get tired of shouting? What time is it? I switched my phone on and I gasped. Oh my God. It is 6 p.m. How did I sleep for so long? I guess that essay drained all my energy. Earth to Delilah, Mr. Froggy said, snapping his fingers. But I ignored him and rushed upstairs to freshen up. Delilah. We're not done talking, he yelled, and I rolled my eyes. Not done talking, my foot. I am so damn hungry. After freshening up, I went downstairs to prepare something to eat, and thank God Dylan wasn't there. I am tired listening to his screams. He is driving me nutty. When I entered the kitchen, I gasped. So clean and spotless. Hands off to Mr. OCD. What to cook? I asked no one in particular. Maybe I can make some noodles for myself. Of course, Dylan will cook for himself. I ain't cooking for no prick. To be honest, I don't know how to cook. Back at home, the maids used to do everything, including cooking. So I just know how to prepare noodles. I took the noodles and the pot. What are you doing in my kitchen with your germs? Mr. OCD snarled, so I am supposed to starve to death just because my husband has some crazy disease. I can't take this, not when I am hungry. Dylan, please stop your nonsense. What am I supposed to eat? I asked furiously. He must be joking. Well, you can't cook in my kitchen, he said simply, and I felt like crying. I am so damn hungry, and he is not letting me cook. But I am hungry. I whined, pouting, and he rolled his eyes. Go sit down, I'll cook. What if you smash your dirt and germs on my cutleries? I won't survive, he muttered. This is so unbelievable. So he won't even let me cook just because of. I've never seen a more crazy guy than Dylan. I feel like I don't even know him. We have known each other for 10 years, but I don't know this side of him. Why are you standing here? Go. He snarled, and I frowned. Crazy jerk. I smiled inwardly. I will surely turn him into my slave. I smiled, thinking about Dylan serving me, doing everything that I ask him to do. It will be so much fun. I sat down on the couch that I drooled in, but it was looking clean now. Mr. OCD must have cleaned it. I took the remote, switching on the television, tuning on my favorite channel, and my favorite show was playing Game of Thrones. I just love dragons. I rested my legs on the table, grinning from ear to ear. Hope Mr. OCD doesn't ruin this for me. Get those stinking feet off my sparkling table, Dylan shouted, and I yelped. Can someone cut his tongue for me? Trust me, Delilah, you don't want to mess with me. He threatened, and I swallowed a thick lump on my throat. He looks scary whenever he goes OCD on me. I abruptly removed my feet and he cleaned it. What kind of a man did I marry, huh? The food is ready, he announced calmly, and I sighed. It is official, he is definitely loco. We ate our meal in silence. The meal was salivating and delicious. OMG, he can cook. Seems like he is perfect in everything. He is smart, handsome, and he knows how to cook. But I will never praise this rude, proud jerk. I am a great cooker, ain't I, Miss Piggy? He asked, grinning, and I shook my head in disagreement. I will never praise him. Don't be so proud, Mr. Froggy Pants. I am just eating because I am hungry, nothing else. So please don't praise yourself too much. I replied, smirking, and he scoffed. Take that, jerk. Whatever, Piggy. I won't be surprised. Pigs are used to eating dirt, and my meal is not close to dirt. So it is fine, he smirked, and I balled my fists, and he laughed loudly. He stood up and collected our plates straight to the sink and washed them. Proud jerky, whispered with annoyance. I heard you, Mrs. Piggy. He yelled, and I smiled. Dylan. One day I'll kill this jerk and have him for supper. It is official. I hate him. I hate you, Dylan Collymore. I groaned inwardly. Delilah. I sat down on the couch with a big frown on my face. Stupid Dylan. How dare he? Thank God my show is still on. I smiled as I watched my favorite couple, Daenerys and Khal Drogo, such a cute couple. Khal was actually mean and ruthless, but Daenerys changed him, and they started loving each other. I wondered if I could be able to change the man that I love. Definitely not Dylan. The day I will fall in love with him, I will surely drink water from the toilet. Yuck. What are you watching, Miss Piggy? Oh, let me guess, you are watching Peppa Pig. I am pretty sure you feel quite happy seeing your family on television. Aren't you? He teased, smirking, and I rolled my eyes at him. Don't you have anything else to do rather than blabber nonsense, Dylan? Aren't you California's most successful businessman? I asked, and he frowned. So what? He muttered. Aren't you supposed to be busy with some business files or something? Oh, now I get it. You want to chase me away from here so that you can inflict your germs everywhere. Not happening, Piggy, not happening. I stared at him. Gobsmacked. All he thinks about are germs, germs and more germs. This man is definitely mad. Is that all you ever think about? I asked unbelievably, and he frowned. Yes. Who wouldn't think about germs when you live with a dirty pig? I don't want you to turn my house into your muddy puddle. All right, Delilah, and let me set some rules into the house. He muttered, and I scoffed. Rules. Oh, Delilah, you are gonna die young. Rules? Really, Dylan? What rules? I asked, and he gave me a puzzled look. Let me point them out to you, Piggy. I have only 4 rules for you, and trust me, you don't want to break them. If you do, then you are dead, Delilah, trust me. I am not making empty threats. When it comes to my stuff, I am gonna strangle you alive. He warned, and I laughed. What a funny man, strangle me. Really, not before I strangle him first. Delilah, what is so funny? Have you gone nuts? He asked, and I hissed. Yes, you are funny, Mr. Froggy Pants. Rules my foot. I am never gonna follow your rules. Dylan, I thundered, and he closed the gap between us, and my breathing hitched. Too close. I can't breath. He leaned down and looked at me straight in the eyes. I can feel his breath fanning my face, and my feet wobbled slightly. Gosh, what is happening to me? No, I can't feel like this for a jerk. I have to act brave. Don't test me, Delilah, he whispered on my ears, and I closed my eyes. Snap out of it. Delilah, this evil man has casted his charm spell on you. I am not gonna fall for his charming looks. Like all the girls in California, I am Delilah, and I am different from them. So I stepped away from him and looked at him. Or what? Dylan, I gritted out, and he smirked. Wait and watch. Don't tell me I didn't warn you, Piggy. He mocked, and I frowned. We will see then. Challenge accepted. I am going to tell you the rules anyways. It is up to you to follow them, or not. But be warned, Piggy, if you don't, then you'll find out yourself. 1. Don't touch my stuff with your germs, Delilah. 2. Don't touch my cutleries if you want to cook, then after using whatever you would be using, dispose it after immediately. 3. Don't ever step into my room without my permission. Not that I will ever give you the permission anyways. 4. Don't bring your dirty friends here or one of your stupid boyfriends. You know how much I hate germs, so don't. 5. The last one, Delilah. If my girlfriend comes here, don't pick a fight with her. I know you have the most blabbering mouth ever, so have some decency and respect yourself, he said, and I frowned. So his is allowed to bring his girlfriend and I am not allowed to bring my friends. How absurd. So you are allowed to bring your girlfriend here and I am not allowed to bring my friends. How is that even fair? I whined and he smiled. Stupid, beautiful smile. Oh, it is Delilah. It is my penthouse. Remember, he smirked, and I scoffed. So what if it is his penthouse? We're married, aren't we? We are supposed to own 50/50ths. It doesn't matter, Dylan. I am your wife, remember, I yelled, and he laughed. Did you say wife? Our marriage was arranged, remember, he reminded, and I nodded, but it doesn't justify his actions. I am going to bring whoever I want to bring. He won't stop me. He grabbed the television remote away from me, and I gasped, what the... Dylan, give the remote back. I gritted out, and he smirked, I am going to watch my show now, Piggy. Peppa Pig is over now. Go to sleep, he muttered, changing the channel, and I screamed. This fool. Dylan, give it back. I had it first. You can't just change the channel like that. I am still watching. I screamed, running after him, aiming at the remote, and he raised the remote up so that I can't get it. I kept jumping and jumping. Gosh, I hate being short. This jerk is taking advantage of that. As I jumped, my braless breasts were bouncing up and down, and then we made a little body contact where my breasts touched his chest a little. Fonty, I heard him mutter, what is wrong with him? I don't care about him now. I only care about the remote control. Dylan, please stop doing that. Give me the remote. I yelled, and he smiled. It is like he is enjoying this. Crazy fool. Now I will show him who Delilah is. I kicked him where the sun doesn't shine, and he groaned, sinking on the floor, holding his phallus, and dropped the remote. I immediately palmed my mouth in horror. I no longer want to watch television anymore. He can watch it. The remote is all yours, Dylan. Oh, Delilah. What have you done? You are officially dead. I immediately ran upstairs straight to my room and locked the door shut. Delilah. I heard Dylan's hoarse voice from all corners of the penthouse and I flinched. Oh, no. Dylan. Gosh, my manhood hurts so much. I couldn't even stand, not talk about walking, so I crawled my way to my room. Oh, Delilah, you are so dead, you evil, wicked witch of the West. You will pay for this, I promise you. I will just have to find her weakness and use it against her. I crawled to my bed and sighed in relief. It hurts so much. Does she play football? Because damn, her kick is very painful. But there is one thing I couldn't stop thinking about. Delilah's soft breasts pressed on my broad chest. Her breasts are so super soft. The way they bounced up and down, gosh. It was an amazing sight. Not until she decided to do the extremely painful deed. The pain is excruciating. I am going crazy. Instead of thinking about a proper revenge, I am busy thinking about her soft breasts. You are going nuts, Dylan. I told myself I can't think about that witch now. I learned one thing today. Never mess with a woman watching her favorite show. To all men out there, don't dare a woman. It is like signing a death sentence for yourself. How do I soothe this pain, huh? I closed my eyes to sleep. Maybe I will feel better in the morning when I wake up. I tried getting some sleep, but my phone started ringing. Who is disturbing my peace? I promise if it is not important, I swear I will not spare that person. I picked up my phone, cussing. But when I looked at the person calling, I smiled. I immediately pressed the answer button. It was my super hot model girlfriend, Juliet. Hello, baby, I missed you so much. You have not called me in ages, Sitchy purred on the phone. And I smiled. I missed you too, sweet lips. I have been busy these days that I didn't get any time. Then you mean busy with that plain Jane? She said, huffing. Come on, Juliet, you know that I don't love her. Our marriage was arranged for business deals. And in fact, the moment my dad makes me the sole heir of his properties, I am going to divorce her and marry you, Ty said with assurance. Yes, that is my plan, making my dad trust me enough to hand me over his properties as his sole heir, and I will divorce Delilah. But I am not sure about marrying Juliet. Baby, are you still there? She asked. Yes, I am still here. Juliet, are you really going to do that, baby? She questioned, and I nodded. Like she could see me. Yes, sweet lips, don't you trust me? I asked, pouting. I do trust you, Dill. I miss you so much, I can't wait to see you again. I miss you too. Don't worry, we're going to be united soon, I assured her. Dill, and tell me if that plain Jane tries something funny, I am not going to spare her. She said, more like Delilah won't spare her. I know Delilah, she is cunning and wicked. Juliet will have to be careful around her. I will. Got night, sweet lips, dream about me. I muttered. I dream about you every day, Dill, because I love you so much, she replied, and I smiled, hanging up. Did I mention that Delilah was a great prankster back in the days? Yes, she used to prank me, that is why I hate her so much. She was the school's creepiest nerd with those big glasses of hers, making her look different from other nerds. She used to be quite shy, but I guess I changed her the day I made fun of her in front of the whole school. That day, her best friend told me that she had a crush on me. I couldn't believe her, so I confronted Delilah about it, and she kept quiet, meaning it was absolutely true. Flashback. 3 years ago. Is it true, Delilah? I asked her with a huge frown, and she stared at her feet. I am talking to you. Answer me. I yelled at her, and she flinched. How I hate introverts. The whole school already gathered around us to watch the drama between me and Delilah. She stammered, staring at her feet like they were interesting, and I scoffed, raising her chin so that she can look at me. She trembled under my touch. Is it true? I asked again, calmly, and she nodded, blushing, and I started laughing loudly, grabbing attention of many students. Some even started laughing with me. Delilah stood there looking gobsmacked. Yo. You, Delilah, have a crush on. On me? I asked between laughs, and her face went pale. I guess I took her by surprise. How absurd. First of all, Delilah, have you looked at yourself in the mirror? You look creepy. I mean, who will ever love a girl like you, huh? If it was another girl, I would be pleased. But after knowing it is you, I feel slightly irritated. You are making me feel like a creep like you. Just imagine the great Dylan going out with the creepiest nerd Delilah Houston. How funny, I said, with a high-pitched voice, and students busted out laughing. Delilah's face became more paler, and tears started streaming down her chubby cheeks, and her friend comforted her. Seeing her cry broke something in me. But I couldn't care less. My reputation on being the most popular kid in school was more important than anything. You are not, and will never be my type. I gritted out, and she ran away crying. What I cry, baby, I muttered, and went my separate way. Thy present. Remembering that day made me realize that I was quite rude to her. I should have just dragged her to a private place and talked to her, but instead I created a huge scene. Since that day, she just changed and became the fearless Delilah who doesn't tolerate nonsense from anyone, who talks nonstop bugging me, and she officially hates me too. Well, I kind of planted that hate in her heart since that day. I wonder if she still has a crush on me. Of course not. She hates you more than anything. I quickly answered myself. And the same girl I insulted 3 years ago is now my wife, Mrs. Piggy. If anyone was to tell me I was going to marry Delilah, I would have laughed until my stomach burst. Thinking about the past made me forget the throbbing pain on my manhood. Oh, Mrs. Piggy, You are so gonna pay for this. I promise. Written by Felicia Race Tobve. Delilah. The alarm rang and I groaned. Gosh, can't someone have a good night's sleep just for once? The only good thing is that I am not going to school today. It is going to be so much fun spending a day alone without Mr. OCD bugging me. Speaking of Mr. OCD, oh my God, I yelled, covering my mouth with my hand. I totally forgot about what I did to Dylan yesterday. God, I am so dead. I hope he is not planning something big for me. It was like a dream. I am even scared of going downstairs now. What do I do? Yes, I am going to stay here until Dylan goes to work. Problem solved. I am going to take a bath, then sit here until Mr. Froggy Pants leaves for work. Simple. The moment I got up from bed, a heavy excruciating pain struck on my abdomen, and I groaned painfully. Oh God, not today, please not today. Please not the red guy. I muttered and ran to the bathroom to check myself. When I got there, I abruptly stripped myself to check. And heck, it was true. I am on my menstruation. God, this pain is excruciating. Is this the punishment I get for hurting Dylan yesterday? I hate being a girl. I wish I was born a boy instead. One thing I hate is menstruating because mine comes with heavy blows. I quickly took my bath, but then I remembered that I forgot to pack some sanitary pads. God, how can I forget to pack such important things? I am doomed. I can't call Mom because she told me that she is going to be out of the city for some days, and I am sure Brianna is busy with one of her boyfriends. Who will help me? I guess I have no choice but to talk to Dylan the jerk. I rolled my eyes at the suggestion. I can't even walk straight. I feel like my waist is ripping off. How I hate this shit. It is irritating and nasty. My whole body is hurting. I wore my clothes and went downstairs, crawling my way down. I think that Dylan prayed for this. It is all because of him. He bewitched me. Dylan. Today I have a very important meeting. I missed a lot of meetings preparing for that stupid wedding, and I can't trust my staff either. They are just a bunch of hooligans, useless human beings. Even my PA doesn't know how to do his job. Bunch of fools. I took my briefcase and hurried downstairs. I can't eat now. I am late already, and it is all because of Delilah. I hardly slept last night because of the pain. She will pay for this, but not now, when I get back. Speaking of Delilah, isn't she supposed to go to school today? It is Tuesday. Maybe she has no lectures today. I shrugged. But I hope she doesn't turn my house into her little muddy puddle. She can do absolutely anything to make me mad. I quickly grabbed my car keys but stopped when I saw Delilah crawling her way downstairs. What a drama queen is this? How low she could stoop after what she did to me yesterday, huh? Her silly acts will never work on me. I will have my revenge sooner or later. I am not ready for her drama right now. I have to get to work. My meeting is more important than anything else. I turned my way to the door, but her voice stopped me. Please, wait, Dylan. What is it now, Delilah? Didn't you have fun yesterday? I snickered and she shook her head. What is wrong with her? This is not the Delilah that I know. I want your help, Dylan, she said with a quivering voice, and I frowned. What a good actress. She can win an Oscar with her acting. My help? I gave her a puzzled look and she nodded slightly. She groaned lowly and palmed her abdomen. What is wrong with Mrs. Piggy? Well, whatever is wrong with her, she highly deserves it. Please buy me some sanitary and drugs, she pleaded. And I scoffed. Sanitary what? I have an important meeting and she is talking about sanitary. Hell no. I am late for work, Delilah. I have a very important meeting that I can't afford to miss. So your sanitary just have to wait, I replied solemnly. But I need them now. I am in a lot of pain, Dylan. I am going to stain my clothes if I don't get them soon. So you expect me to leave my important meeting and attend to you? Not happening. Please just... she was saying, and I interrupted her. You just have to ask someone else for help, not me, or better go get them yourself. I can't go out looking like this. My abdomen hurts, and soon my dress is going to get stained. She said, looking so vulnerable. Look, Delilah, I can't postpone my meeting for. I muttered, already reaching for the door, not waiting for her response. I got inside my car and started the ignition. But instead of driving to my company, I found myself driving to the nearest shop. I sighed. In defeat. Guess. I have to postpone my meeting. What the FK is wrong with me? She has succeeded in making me her slave. Written by Felicia Race Tabve. The heroine is currently facing a difficult situation and needs your support. Please leave your words of encouragement for her in the comments section. Dylan. I wore my ear pod and called my PA. I postpone the meeting, I immediately said to him. But this is a very important meeting, Mr. Collymore. We can't afford to lose this deal, he suggested and nodded knowingly. I know. But an emergency occurred. What should I tell him? He is already here waiting for you. He whispered and I sighed. Just tell him I won't be able to make it. I will handle it later. I will talk to him, be assured. Feathed. Oak, sir, whatever you say. Thank you, John. I will handle this. I can't afford to lose this deal, I said, hanging up. Oh, Delilah, if I lose this deal, you are so gonna pay for it. I parked my car outside the shop and entered. I was greeted by hot blonde, who I guessed to be the cashier. Hello, handsome. How can I help you? She asked, passing me a flirtatious smile, and I rolled my eyes, desperate beat to each. She dropped the paper she was holding in her hand and sunk down just to show me her sexy cleavage. What a nice view, but I am not here for this. I need to buy some sanitary pads, I quickly said, and her smile dropped. Sanitary pads? She asked, quite astonished, and I nodded. For your girlfriend, she questioned. Hopefully, and I shook my head. No, for my wife. She immediately scoffed, and I almost burst out laughing. I wouldn't blame her. I am hot, handsome, charming, and rich. Who wouldn't want me? Too bad I have Juliet, or I wouldn't have minded having her as my mistress. This way, sir, she said, with a fixed expression, and I followed her. As I walked behind her, I couldn't stop looking at her huge buttocks. She is freaking hot, but not like Juliet. My girlfriend is super loaded, but she did multiple surgeries to have that hourglass figure. But it doesn't really matter. I like her just like that. She is someone that I would be proud to attend functions without being embarrassed. I can proudly display her in public as Dylan Collymore's girlfriend. I admit that everything about Delilah is natural, but she is not my cup of tea. But she has a cute figure. I figured this out the day I saw her naked body. I have to admit that she is a beautiful woman. We are here, sir, the blonde said, and I winked at her, and she blushed. Thank you, I said politely, and she nodded, smiling. I saw different brands of them, and I couldn't figure out which one Delilah uses, so I just grabbed lots of them. The blonde was quite astonished, but I just shrugged. The blonde scanned them, and I paid her the amount. Keep the change, I said, and she smiled thankfully. By the way, my name is Christiana, she said. Dylan, I said back, and she winked. I hope to see you soon, Dill, she said, and I smirked. In your dreams, Christiana, you are hot and all, but I am already taken. I got into the car and started the ignition straight to the pharmacy. I want to buy her some drugs that will stop the pains. Look at me already acting like the perfect husband. I stopped at the pharmacy and greeted the older woman. Hello, ma'am, I want to buy some medication. My wife is experiencing some pains in her abdomen, I explained, and she nodded. You mean period pains? She asked, and I nodded. She gave me some painkillers, and I paid for them. Your wife is really lucky to have she said politely. Yeah, lucky to have me right. She doesn't even appreciate me. Thank you. I simply said. Delilah. Dylan is a very wicked person. How can he just leave me like this to attend a stupid meeting? Now I know why people say karma is a B-forch. Gosh, I couldn't even stand straight. I tried jogging around the house, but it's not working. Who can I call for help? How will I go to buy myself sanitary? I started sobbing all of the sudden. Gosh, I can't handle this pain. It is too much. And I can't control my emotions either. Why did God make us go through this nonsense? Huh? I am feed up now. I feel like I am dying. Oh God, please help your child. I have tried Brianna's phone, but it is not going through. What do I do? Tears streamed down my chubby cheeks, and I sniffed. I closed my eyes hoping the pain would subside. But it didn't. It keeps on getting worse and worse. I heard the door open, and I jerked up. Maybe it is that jerk's mother, or maybe Bree got my messages. But I was surprised when Dylan entered holding something. Isn't he supposed to be at his important business meeting? Surprised, right? He asked, and I kept staring at him with a blurry vision. I am not evil as you thought. I brought your things, he said, and I looked at him with shock written all over my face. He came back for me. Tears don't sweet you, Delilah. You look better when have that evil smile on your face. He said, and I smiled, wiping my tears. But you also look like the evil Medusa, he quickly said, making me frown. He loves teasing me, doesn't he? I tried to sit straight, and he went to the kitchen and came back with a glass of water. Come on, have some painkillers, he said, handing me the glass of water and painkillers. I quickly took them from him and gulped them. God, I hate medicines. I feel like puking. I took the other bag, which I assume contains sanitary, and opened it. Gosh, so many of them. Why did he have to buy the whole shop, huh? About that. I didn't know which brand you use, so I just took a bunch of them, he said, scratching his temple, and I smiled. Again, thank you, I muttered, sincerely trying to stand up so that I can go to my room. Gosh, I feel so dirty. I started crawling my way to the stairs and I heard Dylan sigh. And you know what he did next? He freaking carried me in a bridal style. And I gave him a puzzled expression. Dylan, aka Mr. OCD, carried me. Who is this man? Don't be surprised, Piggy. I don't want you to mess up my house. I am not doing this for you. I am doing this for my precious house and to avoid germs, of course, he said, and I stared at him gobsmacked. By the way, your dress has a big red dot at the back. Crazy fool. Written by Felicia Race Tobve. Delilah. He carried me to the bathroom and dropped me on the floor. Wash yourself, you stink, he mocked, and I scoffed. What a jerk. Gosh, I can feel germs crawling on my skin, he muttered, and I sighed. I almost forgot that he is Mr. OCD. You can go now. Thanks for your help, I said sincerely, and he frowned. Just as I said, I didn't do it for you. I did it for my house. Delilah, get that into your thick skull. He deadpanned, and I frowned. Fine, Dylan, you can go now, I snickered, and he turned to leave. Why do I feel like he is lying about doing it for his house? But it is none of my business. He helped me so much, and I appreciate it. I took my bubble bath and wore my clothes. I feel fresh now. My cramps reduced thanks to my jerk husband. I didn't want to start a fight with Dylan, so I just laid on my bed sighing. Gosh, this house is very boring. I used to gossip with my mom before I got married, and life was the best, but now I am constantly fighting with Dylan over everything. Never in my whole life did I ever think that I will get married in the Collymore family. The door opened, and Dylan entered holding a bowl of soup in his hand. Here, I made you this. I heard that it will reduce period pains. He handed me the bowl of soup, and I glared at him. What if he spitted his saliva into the soup? Gross. Relax, Piggy. I didn't do anything to the soup, he assured, and I nodded. I took one sip and the soup was very delicious. After drinking the soup, I muttered a thank you. Who the hell is this man? Why is he doing all of this? This is the same question that has been raking my brain. Why are you doing this? I blurted out curiously, and he looked at me. Doing what? He asked, battling his long eyelashes. Don't act ignorant, Dylan. You know what I am talking about. I rasped. I want you to get better so that I can have my sweet revenge, he said, smirking mischievously. And I scoffed. I should have known that there was a hidden motive for helping me. Did you think that I am helping you because I am being the perfect husband or because my behavior towards you changed? You are always going to be Mrs. Piggy, my greatest nemesis, he pointed out, and I frowned. You didn't have to trouble yourself because of me, Dylan. I would have managed, I said nonchalantly, and he laughed. Really, Delilah, says a woman who couldn't even stand straight. It is easier said than done. Well, the truth is, if he didn't come to my aid, I would still be weeping on the floor. Please buy me some sanitary and drugs. Dylan, he mimicked me, and I pouted, folding my hands. I didn't say that. I rasped, acting ignorant, and he chuckled. Oh, my Piggy, stop lying. I was there, remember? He reminded, and I scoffed. It doesn't matter, Dylan, I gritted out. It matters, Delilah. You will always need me, admit it. Wait, what? Me need him. In his dreams, I will never admit that I need him for anything. This jerk. Don't praise yourself so much, Dylan. I am telling you that someday you will also find yourself in a helpless situation, and I will be there for you. I muttered, and he shook his head. Just think about it, Delilah. Me. The great Dylan Collymore asking help from Mrs. Piggy. Nebraska ver he deadpanned, and I glared at him. Trust me. Dylan, you will. Dylan. I scoffed, looking at Mrs. Piggy. She seems so sure about this. I will never find myself in a helpless situation ever. I don't know what I was thinking about making her that soup. I didn't do this so that I can execute my revenge. I did it for humanity. But to think of it, I never got to behave like this with Juliet. Maybe it is because we live miles away from each other. She is currently in Arizona, completing a contract she just signed 2 months ago. She is a very famous model. Maybe that is why I chose her to be my girlfriend. We meet at a function that was hosted by my friend and business partner, Mark. She was this gorgeous lady in a red 6E dress. I liked her the moment I laid my eyes on her. She gave me this flirtatious smile that made my pants twitch. Everything about her is just marvelous. That is why I can't wait for her to come visit me. I hope Mrs. Troublemaker won't create a ruckus about it. Delilah can be handful. Sometimes she doesn't know how to behave around people. Juliet is 10 times better than Delilah. With everything, she is smart and beautiful, while Delilah is just plain and has a loud mouth. But she is also funny sometimes. I always dated the most beautiful girls, even in high school. Dylan always goes for the best. Juliet is just the perfect lady for me. At least, that is what I think. I just don't know what the future holds for me. But one thing is for sure, I am going to divorce Delilah sooner or later. I have to talk to my lawyer about this. I have to make sure we sign the agreement soon. It is better sooner than later. Dylan. I frowned as I opened my office door and found my dad sitting on the chair comfortably. I wonder what he is doing here this early. I am the exact replica of my dad, but our ideas and viewpoints are very different. Well, you can say that we have different opinions of things, and we are very different from each other, despite being father and son. I am more like my mother, I can say. The only common thing between my dad and I is that we are both very business-minded and punctual. He is a very strict man. When it comes to his business, he doesn't joke with anyone. I hope no one told him that I was not in yesterday. I cleared my throat. Good morning, sir. Good morning, son. How was your night? he asked with a blank expression on his face. It was good, sir, I replied. And your wife? He asked again. She is fine, sir. He nodded and stood up. I heard that you were not in yesterday, he said, and I gasped. How the hell did he find out? I hope John did not rat me out, because if he did, then I am going to strangle him alive. Yee. Yes, sir, I stammered, and he glared at me. Why? He growled at me, and I flinched slightly. Delilah was sick, I blurted out, and I scowled at me. It is good to take care of your wife, but I once told you that the company comes first. He snickered, and I nodded knowingly. She was in a helpless situation, Dad. I mean, sir, I quickly corrected myself. He hates it when I call him Dad at our workplace. He said punctuality means everything. You were supposed to crack a deal with Sebastian yesterday, and you blew it all up. Didn't. You growled, and I balled my fists. I will fix it, sir. I already talked to him this morning. I muttered. He sighed. I told you how important this deal is to us, and you promised me that you will not mess it up, Dylan. A great businessman is always punctual, he gritted out. Just like I said, I will fix it all. I was saying, and he banged the table loudly, making me flinch slightly. God knows how much I tolerate this man. My jaw congealed, but I tried my best to control myself. I will never raise my hand to hit my dad, even though he annoys me so much. Cut the bullcrap. You are a Collymore, Dylan, act like one. Men in our family are not weak and cannot be weak, so do not be the first one to be weak, Dylan. And I closed my eyes. Listen here, Dylan, if you don't crack this deal, then kiss my properties. Goodbye, I am not going to have a weakling as the sole heir to the Collymore properties. Isn't that what you want? He asked, smirking, and I glared at him hard. You know that I never wanted this, right? I had my own dreams, Dad, but instead of supporting me as your son, you discouraged me. You turned me into this. I rasped, and he hissed. He laughed dryly. I was never going to allow my son to be a stupid singer, Dylan. You are a Collymore, and I was never going to drag my name through the mud. I was never going to allow you ruin my reputation in this city. Never, he growled, and I shook my head. That is why I have always loved Mom more. It is because she understands me better than you ever will, Mr. Collymore. All you ever cared about was your stupid reputation and nothing else. You never gave me the fatherly love on me. You never ever tried to know who your son really is. All you always cared about was yourself and no one else. I curse the day that Mother married you. All you do is impose your decisions on me without caring about how I felt. You care more about money than you do to your own family. That is the same reason you made me marry into the Houston family. It is because you knew that it was going to benefit you the most. I yelled, and a resounding slap stinged my throat. The only reason I made you marry Delilah is because I wanted to make you more stronger. I want you to rule both the companies, do you understand? I want the best for you and the family, nothing more. He growled at me. Don't you ever talk to me like that, Dylan? I won't let my own flesh and blood disrespect me. I am still your father, Dylan. Everything that I have done over these years is all for you. Without me, you wouldn't be where you are now. And that model girlfriend of yours wouldn't have ever looked at you if you weren't a fucking Collymore. Do you understand? He thundered, and I frowned. I laughed dryly. I never asked for this, Mr. Collymore. All I wanted was my father's love and affection. But sadly, I never got that from you. I whispered, and he sighed. Love and affection was never going to bring food on the table, Dylan, he muttered. It did not matter to me if... He raised his hand up, gesturing me to stop talking. Enough, Dylan, I have heard enough. Just make sure you fix things with Sebastian. I want that deal, he demanded, walking away. He is always like this. All he cares about is his aching company and nothing else. I am fed up. This is exactly what I wanted to avoid. Delilah. I laughed as I watched my favorite comedy show. So funny. The door opened, and Dylan entered with a fixed expression on his face. What could have happened to him? I asked myself as I shrugged. He did not even acknowledge my presence as he walked past me. On a normal day, Dylan would have made fun of me, calling me Mrs. Piggy. And today he is just so quiet. Why am I worried anyways? It is good that he is not teasing me, right? But I can't help it but get worried. I sighed as I climbed upstairs straight to Dylan's room. I knocked as I arrived in front of his door, but I noticed that the door was slightly open. I know he warned me about entering his room, but to H-Tech with his sick rules. I opened the door and saw Dylan sitting on his bed with his head buried in his palms. What do you want? I thought I warned you about coming into my room, he said with a hoarse voice, and I swallowed a lump in my throat. Is everything fine, Dylan? I asked nervously. I am perfectly fine, you can leave, he replied coldly, and I frowned. How rude, but you are. I said leave, he yelled coldly, and I flinched. Something cracked inside of me. He made me remember the day he insulted me in front of the whole school. Go to hell, El jerk, I yelled back painfully, and I slammed the door shut. What was I even thinking? That he could ever change? A leopard never loses it, is spots. Dylan. It-o-chewed. I groaned loudly as Delilah slammed the door shut. What the hell is wrong with me? I vented all my anger on an innocent person. I am a fool, an imbecile. I am so sorry, Delilah. I did not mean to raise my voice at you like that. It is all because of that man, Mr. Collymore, the man who calls himself my father. All I ever wanted in my life was my father's love and affection. Is that all too much to ask? All he ever thinks about is his so-called reputation and his business deals. Never his only son's happiness? I never asked for this. I would have preferred a much simpler life where my father could just show me a bit of affection and love, but no. I may smile and act all tough, but I am a broken man. Many people envy me, but my life is not a bed of roses. My life is not perfect. It may seem so, but it is not. And now Delilah is angry with me. Delilah is right. I am a big jerk. In fact, I am the biggest jerk ever. I sighed deeply as I stepped on my bathtub. I could use a shower right now. Just thinking about my life makes my heart ache real bad. When I wore my pants and hoodie as I made my way out of my room. Delilah's door was locked, which means she is either in or downstairs. I really need to talk to her, and I have apologized for the way I talked to her earlier on. I walked downstairs and saw Delilah sitting on the couch watching her usual show, of course. I suddenly wondered if she ate yet. I cleared my throat to announce my presence, but she did not even move. She kept her gaze on the television. I did it again, but she did not move again. I sighed deeply and sat on the couch beside her. Her face was blank, so I could not make out whether she was angry or not. Mrs. Piggy, your show has ended now, I announced, trying to lighten up her mood, but she just sat there not saying anything. Gosh, what is so hard to saying sorry, huh? Dylan, just get to the point already. My subconscious scolded, and I nodded knowingly. I cleared my throat again. I turned to stare at her. Listen, Delilah, I am really sorry about earlier on. I did not mean to talk to you like that. I was just stressed out about work, you see. So I am sincerely apologizing for the way I treated you earlier on, I quickly said in one breath, and she sighed. What happened? She asked. I cannot tell you that. Maybe someday I will, but not today, I replied, and she nodded. But still, Mr. Froggy, that does not give you a reason to yell at people. If you have your problems, then find a way to suppress them. Don't go around yelling at people. She scowled at me. This is the Delilah that I know, I saluted. I heard you, Mrs. Piggy, advice noted, I said, chuckling, and she frowned. Why is everything a joke to you, Dylan? She asked seriously. Maybe it is because I am trying to forget everything that is happening in my life. Whatever, Dylan, please go and prepare something eatable for me. I am really hungry, she whined, and I rolled my eyes, Mrs. Lazy Buttocks. Just to think about it, I am the one that forbid her from touching my things, so it is all on me. Time to make dinner for Mrs. Piggy, Depsy, Nawe. After making dinner, I sat down and served the food. We ate in silence. I know that she really enjoys my food, but she will never admit it. Such pride. I scoffed at the thought. I tried my luck. How is the food? I asked. The food is normal. What else do you want me to say? She said, battling her eyelashes, and I frowned. Mod girl. After washing the dishes, I went back to the sitting room and found Delilah watching a horror movie. And here I thought women hate horror movies, but today I just found out that the woman I am married to actually loves horror movies. What kind of a woman is she? I questioned myself. I thought all women love romantic movies, but sadly I was wrong. Well, I guess Delilah is different from most of them. Juliet loves romantic movies, so it means they are different from each other in many aspects. If they were to stay in the same house, then these two would tear each other apart. Well, I also love horror movies. I guess I am going to tag in. I quickly pooped some popcorns and poured them in a huge bowl. Time to watch a movie with Mrs. Piggy. Delilah. I frowned as I felt Dylan sit beside me, but the moment I saw popcorns, my mouth watered. Gosh, this movie is epic. I dipped my hand into the bowl of popcorns and Dylan scowled at me. I did not pop them for you, Piggy. They are mine. But you forbid me from touching your things, including your pots, so how am I supposed to cook for myself? I asked innocently, and he sighed. Got ya. I guess him being Mr. OCD works in my favor. I get to treat him like my servant. Dylan Collymore, my slave. Sounds great. My focus turned to the television, and I gulped hard as I saw the man holding an axe to cut someone's head. He raised the axe in order to cut the man, and I screamed loudly, hugging Dylan so tightly. I felt his body stiffen under my touch. I felt a spark the moment I touched him. Maybe it is just a stupid feeling. What do I know about sparks? I raised my head to look at him, and I also found him staring at me. His gaze bored into me like he was studying me or something. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't look away. It was as if my eyes were glued to his or something. I looked at his perfectly shaped jaw, his long eyelashes, and his green orbs gazing straight into my ocean blue ones. It was like in those Indian movies where the main actors look at each other for almost 15 minutes, not wanting to look away. My gaze lingered on his small pouty lips, making me swallow a lump on my throat. I bit my lower lip, and his gaze also lingered on my lips, and I saw his Adam apple moving up then down. I felt my heart pound faster and faster, like a fat man was beating a drum right into my heart. Butterflies danced in my tummy. He started leaning his head downwards. What is he trying to do? I unconsciously closed my eyes, waiting for his lips to meet mine. It was like I was hypnotized or something. I felt his breathing so fanning my face, and then I knew that this was really we are actually going to kiss each other. My very first kiss with Dylan Collymore. I could feel his nose on mine, but the moment our lips almost met, my phone started ringing, and I snapped out of it. I came back to my senses, so I pushed the jerk away, breathing heavily, and took my phone straight to my room. It was Brianna calling. Thank you so much, Bri, or I would have committed the greatest mistake of my life by kissing a man who hates me. I sighed as I picked up the call. I guess. What, Mrs. Collymore? Her voice rang out and I groaned. My crazy best friend. But she is mine to keep. I so much love this girl.